use them with clients, and yes, I will, with pretty much all clients, use terms like cunt, fuck, bastard, twat, shit, anything else you can think of. I will get them to imagine scenarios that involve rape, unless they're a rape victim, obviously. Bit of common sense. But people who are not, or haven't mentioned they're a rape victim, and there's a way of doing that so we can avoid abreactions. I'll cover that tomorrow. Trust me, I will cover how to avoid abreactions, negative reactions and all that shit tomorrow. But the more extremely distressing, visually, psychologically and verbally disgusting the mental image you can paint in that client's mind to either A, stop them doing what they're currently doing that they want to leave behind, or to stop them not doing what they need to do so they start doing it, then the far more likely you are to get results, because human beings will do more to avoid pain than they will to seek out pleasure. Ultimately, they'll think consciously they do stuff for pleasure, but that's why so many people who know that if they did a bit more exercise, they'd lose weight or look a bit better. They know that consciously, they know if they did it, you'd think they'd seek out the pleasure. But no, there's too much pain in their head idea of doing the exercise, so they will avoid the pain and therefore not do it. The pain overrules the pleasure. And that's the key to everything in life. If you want to manipulate somebody, you've got to find what's painful to them, what's pleasurable for them, and depending on the outcome you want, it's always about reversing it. That makes sense? And if it doesn't, watch the recording back when it goes into the group tomorrow. Hopefully it will by now. I'm pretty certain you're all sane, intelligent individuals following this. So we're into the final half hour of session 2 of day 1. Tomorrow we're going to teach you CMT cured. I want to tell you a little bit more. So that's the basic psychological underpinnings. Stage hypnosis or therapy is about removing self-blame, shame, guilt and regret from them. Manipulating them with pain and pleasure. Using them so they avoid the pain, seek out the pleasure, but only because the pain is so powerfully painful enough that they go, fuck that, I'm going to take action and I am going to go over here. You know? But in a sense that seems credible. So you've got to create credibility. So, one of the elements of them is that they will see on your website or in your newspaper articles certificates. And it doesn't matter, that one's for, I think, mind emotion liberation techniques. People in the boot camp get that. That one's complete mind therapy. You get one of them at the end of the course. That one's complete mind therapy. You get one of them at the end of the course. Looks all very nice and fancy. Oh, that's complete unconscious reprogramming of emotional disease and distress. You'll get one of them. Mind Care Organisation Limited. It all sounds fancy, doesn't it? The point is, you need fancy looking diplomas on your wall, and when these are in frames, particularly like ones with coats of arms on, because they look like universities and they've got that conditioned link in people's heads of university and stuff. These are just a few examples. That's particularly nice, coat of arms. Things with coats of arms, old style lettering. It looks like the kind of things you see in a lawyer's office, solicitor's office. And that's good, because they're consultants, legal consultants. Or where you go and see a medical specialist, they're a medical consultant. Well, you're going to be a mind therapy consultant. So that people psychologically attach the same level of prestige to you. But you need certificates. Now, you'll get some of them, 2 of them, with this course, Complete and Conscious Reprogramming for Emotional Disease and Distress, and Complete Mind Therapy. In the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp, there's a whole bunch of others. But all of them, including your CMT and your Cured, are genuinely approved, endorsed and accredited by the United Kingdom Board of Clinical Hypnotherapy. And yes, you can legally say that the training that you've done when you pass the exam on Sunday is approved, endorsed and accredited by them. It's endorsed and accredited by the International Practitioners of Holistic Medicine, the Royal Institute of Hypnotherapy and Psychotherapy, which also includes the Mind Care Organisation UK Limited, and that will give you rights, because you'll have learnt CMT, to use the lovely ACMT, Association of Complete Mind Therapists logo. Look at that, it looks like a love heart. Hearts there, caring and sharing. And the tagline at the bottom is, get into the heart of your problems. Oh, it seems like a lovely caring therapist. It sells what they are looking for. We've got them in different colours. And you get the JPEGs to these in your download that you can use. That's for the camera that's in the office, I've just realised. That's not seeing it. And there's a whole bunch of other ones that are in the bootcamp for people who are in the bootcamp piece and whatnot. The point is, your logos, oh that's a nice one. RICH, Rapid Instant Change Hypnosis. That stands for hope. Giving your clients hope. Hypnotic override, pain elimination. PCP, person-centered psychotherapy. DRT, drug release therapy. I'll explain what that means in a minute, but for the camera in the office as well when I move to the side. So just quickly again, for the camera in the office, because that's the video recording that I'm going to put in the group for you. They are the other images that I showed you before. The point is, you need professionally designed logos. Now you will get the Association of Complete Mind Therapist ones and the Complete Unconscious Reprogramming of Emotional Disease and Distress. Yes, you will. If you want to, so that's Cured, by the way. So there are different logos for Cured. That's for camera in the office. Talk about that tomorrow, but that's mind emotion liberation techniques. Melt, to help your clients melt the problems away. All of these things are descriptive, so the logo sells the benefit almost. So Cured, Complete Unconscious Reprogramming of Emotional Disease and Distress. They can come to your office for the cure and leave your office cured. And because you're a cured practitioner, you can legally use the word cure and cured in that context on your website, because you're not allowed to claim to cure people as a therapist. It goes against advertising laws. But if you're saying you've got a diploma in Cured, it's Complete Unconscious Reprogramming of Emotional Disease and Distress, and that you give people the cure, aka Complete Unconscious Reprogramming of Emotions and Energies, then suddenly you can have those words in your website legally, ethically and morally, which will help you. Look how many Google searches are done for like cure for phobias and all this, but you're not allowed to use it in your website until you've got a legal justifiable reason. You will have at the end of these 4 days. That alone was worth attending for, trust me, because you will get more people finding your website. On other people, anyone who hasn't done the Cured course will not be able to have those words in their site, because saying that we're not allowed to claim that we give you a cure or people leave us cured is not enough of a justification, really. But you could do that as well as what we've just said. But you make your own legal decisions, you get your own legal advice. I'm just saying it will increase your website hits. And it's the perception it puts in their head. Complete mind therapy, complete. The word complete implies there's nothing missing. That's why it's complete. So it must be the best. It tells them it's mind therapy. And that tagline, get into the heart of your problems, seems caring, especially with the symbolism of the love hearts in the centre that you saw on screen. If you want to see what any of these logos look like in closer detail, just go to magicalguru.com, click on where it says Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp, or even better, go into the Stay at Home and Hypnotize group, click where it says announcements, click on one of them's got a link to the bootcamp with the special offer, but you'll see all the 18 different logos that bootcamp members get to use. It'll be a lesson to you on how to structure things. Now, drug release therapy, DRT. So another title, that's what these are, titles, the marketing brands, that's it. The techniques of why they all work for the same reasons that we've covered today and will over the next few days. But that DRT, drug release therapy, stands for, the letters of the words drug release therapy stand for dissolve regrets and resentment, understand guilt and grief, release and reprogram emotional learnings, eliminate anger, anguish, anxiety and stress as you strengthen and energise positively. And that gives you all these keywords to put on your website, because that genuinely is the things people need to deal with to get off drugs. And the interesting thing is that it honestly, in a way that's almost subliminal, is telling them that you know all they need is an excuse to remove all self-blame, shame, guilt and regret from them, but in a manner where any of the family and friends could look at your website and find it credible and believe that they've had to go through that important seeming ritualistic process to get the outcome they get. Hopefully that makes sense. So, I think, let me just check my images here. No, that's for tomorrow. That's for tomorrow. So yeah, my bullet points that I've got at the side of me tell me that the keys there that I wanted to get across to you are that we're going to cover marketing in more depth as the week goes on, but the first things they see have got to, in their mind, attach a prestige to you, a professionalism, a credibility that you know what you're doing, that what you do is powerful, that it's what they want. It will give them the suit of armour. It's got to conjure up at an unconscious level, or consciously, or both. That's a matter of your own opinion. Personally, I think it's more conscious than most people or therapists would choose to admit, or most clients would choose to admit, because they don't want that self-blame, shame, guilt or regret of not having got off their arse and dealt with it sooner, so they'd sooner play the I don't know card. Genuinely. That they feel safe to come to you. And you know what? The more expensive you are, the more safer they will feel. They might feel they can't afford it, but if they feel they can't afford it, they don't fucking want it enough. They can go and find some other monkey that's prepared to take peanuts. Okay? The fact is, if you are not the dearest hypnotherapist in your area, you're doing yourself and your clients a disservice. As you'll learn over the next few days, I genuinely believe that the way to get as close to 100% success rate as you possibly can with as close to 100% of the clients is to not see shit clients who can't afford to pay good money and who do not attach enough importance to it. But that is relative, because with a millionaire, they could pay a few £100, they wouldn't attach enough importance. You've got to charge them something so they attach value to it. Or make a trade with them that, you know, and I've done this in the past, rather than asking or demanding a multi-thousand-pound fee from a millionaire, I have said I will cure their supermodel girlfriend's fear in exchange for, I'm not going to tell you what, because I can't, because it will give you a clue who that particular client was, but something that basically money could buy, but if I was to buy it in monetary terms, would probably cost me £10,000–20,000 sterling. However, to that individual, the actual cost to them will be effectively nothing financially, but they know the value of it because they price it high and all the people who buy it off them pay that price. So they do attach a value to it. So by giving me that, they buy in the same way as someone who lives on a council estate who's unemployed may have to save up for several months to get together the money to pay £250 or £500 sterling to stop smoking or to lose weight or whatever. Or the other option is they could go and sell the fucking Xbox and the £200 trainers that somehow they keep fucking buying. Lazy, dull, dossing cunts. But anyway, that's aside. Some of this is tongue-in-cheek. Some of it isn't. I'll let you decide for yourself. That can almost be like a little puzzle within the course. Actually, I'll give you a clue. None of it's tongue-in-cheek. I mean every single bloody word I'm teaching you. Because I promised you that at the beginning. You'll get the truth and nothing but the truth for the next 15 minutes of today, and then tomorrow for another 2 90-minute sessions, Saturday and Sunday. So let's recap on what we've looked at today. The fact that hypnosis doesn't exist is bullshit. Hypnosis exists only in the mind of the believer. It's perception. If somebody feels they've been hypnotised, then they have been. Now, most therapy courses would tell you, tell the client there's no such thing as a hypnotised feeling, otherwise at the end, when they don't feel like something special happened, it will have a negative effect on any worthwhile work that you did. I say, better idea, learn to actually be a fucking decent hypnotist and do it properly in the first place so that the person genuinely feels like they've been hypnotised. And that is why I said earlier, if you remember, yes, it was a nested loop, alright, I may have told a little white lie, about people going to sleep. 99.9% of my therapy clients recurring on a one-to-one level, and mostly in a group setting as well, but not for television or media. There's a reason for that I'll explain when we cover television and media. But for non-media therapy clients who are not appearing on TV or radio, 99% of them recurring end up going to sleep. And that is because I get them to lie down the majority of the time. I dim the lights in the room. The curtains are closed. There is probably just candlelight or a small lamp, so it's as dim as can possibly be. There is the winky-wanky, arty-farty, tree-hugging, new age shite music going that they expect to hear because that's the stereotype they've seen in films. So let's provide it because then they'll believe it's real. And the heating is hyped up as high as it can be when I'm in the room with them. So that all of these things together, perhaps even some aromatherapy, relaxing oils burning, they will go to sleep. Especially when you do a nice, boring, 15-minute progressive relaxation, muscle relaxation, Jacobson's relaxation induction, which I'll teach you tomorrow, as well as rapids. Don't worry, I'll teach you them, because you'll need them for radio and TV shows and journalists and public demonstrations. But when you've done the progressive drawn-out induction process, using techniques that are talked about in Dr. Herbert Benson's excellent book, The Relaxation Response, and his second book called Beyond the Relaxation Response, also by the same man, Dr. Herbert Benson, where effectively he tells you about the true therapeutic healing power of being truly relaxed and getting a quality sleep. There are two natural rhythms in the body, the circadian rhythm and ultradian rhythm. The ultradian rhythm happens once, roughly every 90 minutes to 2 hours, okay? Which is why really a training session shouldn't be longer, or a therapy session any longer than about 90 minutes, ideally 2 hours max. It shouldn't be any less than an hour, because what you're doing is increasing the law of probabilities that at some point during that therapy session, the person will naturally, their mind and body and physiology will naturally slip into the ultradian rhythm, which makes them naturally more suggestible and triggers the body's natural healing processes. The circadian rhythm happens roughly every sort of 12 hours. It's the idea of when you get so tired that you go to sleep. Restorative sleep, when you are proper relaxing sleep. Most people don't because they've got all these stresses and tensions, worries running around in their mind, but we can guide them through muscular relaxation, psychological relaxation of a verbal and physical progressive relaxation induction to a point where they will go genuinely to sleep. And in that, anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, sometimes maybe as much as an hour and a half, that they are more often than not snoring, or certainly you know they're asleep, even if they're not snoring. Most people snore well, every now and again, they really do. At the end of the session, when you say wide awake, you kind of have to shout to wake them up, because they're asleep. But that's brilliant, because guess what? They believe that means they must have been out of it. They must have been under. They must have been in that zombie hypnotic state they believe exists. I ensure that they feel they've had the magic one wave. You can too. I ensure that they feel they've been out of it in zombie land, and that therefore this must mean it's going to work for them. And indeed, when I make sure they wake up, and don't worry if they don't snore, very few don't snore and don't go to sleep. Most of them do if you do everything I said about dim lighting, warmth, the music, lying down, even giving them a blanket. Especially with the female clients if you're a bloke. That way they can cover their legs, because you'll get a lot of female clients show up that they see the hypnotist as a power figure and will come dressed provocatively. So a good colleague of mine, Paul Brady, taught me when I was very young, have a blanket there, tell them it's because their body temperature will drop while they're under hypnosis. It's not, it's so that you won't get distracted looking up their skirt when they're laid down. Yeah. But it'll also make them more likely to go to sleep, because laid down, eyes closed, covers on, have all got anchored connections, conditioned responsive of going to sleep. That's what we want them to do, because then that way when we bring them round, hey presto, they will believe that they've been hypnotised. They will have had the magic wand. That's why I'm so fucking successful. That's why that is the key for therapy. Now for stage, it's a whole different ballgame. You're just giving them an excuse to play along. They'll do the rest themselves. We'll go into that in more depth over the next few days for doing public demonstrations. So I've got sort of 10 minutes left. I'm going to end today in a minute, well not in a minute, in about 10 minutes, with a letter that I received in the post this week, because I know some of you might be thinking, or those who watched the replay before tomorrow's session who couldn't join us today might be thinking, oh my God, he spent half the time saying fuck, cunt, shit, twat, attention-seeking footwids, and all manner of other things. He's saying it's all bullshit and it's effectively just a placebo effect and creating a situation. Well, yeah, I am. But the thing is, placebo's not a bad thing. It's been proven time and time again, that, for example, if you give somebody a tablet to take as a ritual 3 times a day, that they're more likely to get better if that tablet tells them to take it 3 times a day than if it's to take it once. It's been proven, though, that if they're told to take a capsule that's 2 different colours, as opposed to just a white tablet, that has a higher success rate in placebo studies. It's been proven, however, that certain colours of that capsule will have a better effect on anxiety than stress or whatever. Don't use a red capsule for stress. Use blue, that's calming. But it's also been proven that giving someone an injection that's just a saline, it's a placebo, sham injection, is more likely to make a person with long-term pain, arthritic, feel like that they're fine for the next few months, if that's the placebo idea, that suggestion that's been planted into the head. It's been proven beyond any reasonable doubt, not just by the medical fraternity, respectable medical fraternity, but I've done it in the real world, and I'm going to explain ways that you can within your therapy to make it far more powerful and effective over the next few days. For those people who maybe not got a background in therapy at all, don't worry. Complete mind therapy that you're going to learn tomorrow, the structure of, is all you need. Although, to be honest, what I've told you today is all you really need, because genuinely it's all I had. In so much as, you know how to get rapport, I told you. Inducing the trance, well, you need a script. Guess what? It's in the download package for Complete Mind Therapy and Cured, that if you click on the pinned announcement section in the group, boom. As is the deepener, as is the ego strengthening, as is all the therapy, as is the post-hypnotic and the awakening. And I've already told you how to make sure they keep their eyes closed and be in the right state of mind. I pointed you in the right direction that advertising is important, logos and, you know, your social proof and stuff. Although we will cover that more when we get to Sunday on marketing, advertising, publicity and promotion. And don't worry, I'm not saying that you've got to walk away from this a so-called scriptnotist, but there's nothing wrong with that. You know what, let me tell you this. I could walk into a room, be challenged to do anything and do it. You could as well at the end of this course. Certainly if you become a bootcamp member. Because there's tricks in there I won't have time to show you that can make that difference. But you'll be more confident and competent at the end of these 4 days than most therapists out there, certainly the ones that weren't taught by me, ever will be. And you will be able to go and just make it up as you go along. But I'd advise you not to, if you genuinely want to be ethical and moral. Because if you make it up on the spot, yes, it'll work most of the time. But if you create, or rather use, a script that I've created for you, Complete Mind Therapy, that's like a laser-guided missile. Every single word is in the place it is for a reason, and that reason is because it works better than any other word could do at that moment, in that sentence. The sentences are structured so they have embedded commands, so they have future pacing, so they have disassociation or positive association that is relevant at the time that's needed. So that if you read that script in the way that I do, the way it was intended to, so that at certain times your voice tones become relaxed and slow, or at other times of enthusiasm, you've got that energy within, they become faster and more upbeat, and the whole range of things in between that create all those different emotions and feelings inside. Then you can get the same results that I have, and my thousands upon thousands of tens of thousands of successful students around the world are getting on a daily basis using the complete mind therapy system that I'm going to teach you tomorrow. But remember, when I do teach it you, the reason it works is because of everything we've covered in the 2 sessions today. The fact that it removes all self-blame, shame, guilt and regret from the client. It gives them a personal shield of protection to go away and not need to rely on any secondary gains, because any chance of doing that would actually be painful to them. So painful that they'll do anything to avoid it once they've gone through the ritual, because they just want to remain in the place that's now pleasure. Pleasure's here, pain's always there. I'm getting my spatial anchoring wrong. Who cares? Because it's bullshit anyway, generally. Especially when they've got their eyes closed during a therapy session. It's got some use in public speaking and stage hypnosis shows, I admit. But for therapy, their eyes are closed, so it doesn't really matter if you get that bit wrong. What does matter is what they can hear. Which is why when you're conjuring up mental images, the more honed your script is, the more precise the structure is, which if you want to jump ahead of the class, you go into the group, click pinned announcements, you download the Complete Mind Therapy and Cured package, and you read the Complete Mind Therapy script, and you listen to the audio recording of me delivering that script, which will teach you the voice tones to use, so you can read the script that you printed out as you hear me delivering the script, which will teach you when to raise your voice up, or when to talk slow and calm. And when to raise your voice slightly so that a apparently normal sentence like, I don't know if you're in a trance now or in a few moments' time, is actually perceived to the person more like, I don't know if you're in a trance now or in a few moments' time. But you're not doing that, I'm just explaining that's how it's perceived with that slight voice tone change of, I don't know if you're in a trance now or in a few moments' time. It only has to be a slight change, but an ever such a slight auditory change becomes an embedded command where the unconscious, there's no critical faculty resistance, and they argue that that means it becomes a hypnotic command. The truth is, what you do in the therapy session, it doesn't really matter. But if there is any worth in disassociation, association, in collapsing anchors and creating positive ones, we may as well kill that hour we've got to spend with the client with something that might have some genuine therapeutic worth, even though it's not necessary, because as long as you create the environment, doesn't matter what you do, it will remove the self-blame, shame, guilt and regret as rapidly and effectively as my wife will remove the pop-ups from my computer before tomorrow's sessions take place, so we don't get those pings every now and again. It is as simple as that. It truly, honestly, sincerely is. And using a script means that you will be precision. It will have more power. Yes, you can make it up as you go along, but never feel bad about using a script as long as the script you're using is a good one. That is the biggest key. So before I leave you with this letter, because a lot of you are probably thinking that Jonathan Rowell is somewhat of a foul-mouthed cunt. I won't want to leave you with that thought today, but I hope you realise that actually I've done it for a purpose. And the purpose is, as you will see tomorrow, the more extreme, provocative, emotionally, psychologically button-pushing or distressing mental imagery you can use in the therapy session to cause the pain, to push them away from doing what they no longer want to do, or push them away from remaining in that period of life where they don't do what they need to, so they go for the pleasure that brings the outcome they desire, the better it works. So yes, I will have the smoker visualise having to tell, if he was to carry on smoking, visualise having to tell his family and friends that he's only got a matter of months to live because he was a silly fuckwit, carried on smoking. And to imagine seeing the kids and the grandkids crying, distraught, and floating forward in the mind when they've died, seeing the family falling apart, depressed because they're really upset that, you know, that they didn't stop soon. I'll really ramp the bloody pain up, you know? I had a client come to me, I'll leave you with this story before this letter. I had a client come to me at a seminar a number of years ago, and he said, I've come on the seminar not really to learn hypnosis, I wanted to get close to you, your waiting list is months because I never see a client immediately. Here's the thing, even if you've got an empty date book, you don't see a client for at least a month. I would say more like 6 weeks. And then the only reason you can fit them in is if they come on a certain day at a time, you tell them, and they will come when you tell them to if they value it enough, because you've had a cancellation then. Because otherwise they'll have to wait 6 months. This is not just a sales technique to get them in the diary, it's to heighten that perception you're bloody good at what you do, because if you were that good, you'd be booked up months in advance. You need to elevate your status, and you take at least 50% of the money up front as a non-returnable booking deposit. And the fee you charge is sizable, more than the other therapists, so they attach value. I charge a minimum 500 quid, generally more, as I'll explain over the next few days, and how you can do that. So they pay 250 quid deposit. When they show up, they pay the other 250 quid there and then before the session starts. Cross my palm with silver. Right, like I mentioned earlier. All those things in place with your advertising, and what you do in the middle's neither here nor there really, but let's imagine it is. That's why we're going to teach you Complete Mind Therapy and Cured tomorrow. And then the day after, we're going to teach you, or it might be tomorrow and the day after, it might split between them, we'll teach you slow, rapid and instantaneous hypnotic induction techniques. I'm going to teach you HYPNO-TRICKS, which are things that work every time, that can be used as convincers for public demonstrations, for TV and radio shows, for convincing journalists or people at networking meetings that you are gods, that they will book you for your services, whether it's entertainment, therapy or both. I'm going to teach you how to create multiple streams of passive income and a whole bunch more besides. It sounds like a tall order to teach you all that over the next 3 nights at just 3 hours each night, but I've got 9 hours left, and remember, I learnt the majority of that through 3 90-minute audio cassettes and a 67-page manual. Yes, I've honed it even better, so that what I share with you over the next few days will be better. What I'd like you to do at the end of today, not necessarily today, because you might want to go and have a sleep, some of you in some time zones, but before tomorrow, before you join us again, please go into the Stay at Home and Hypnotize group, click on the pinned announcement, there you will find the link and the code you need to use on the website to get your Complete Mind Therapy and Cured backup training audios, videos, scripts, manuals, logos for advertising and certificate pack and all that. I'll explain it more tomorrow, but download it. It's a zip file that you download. Be sure to check your junk and spam folder in case the download link gets sent there when you've gone to the link. Also check out the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp if you're not already a member. Not doing a massive sales pitch, I'll let other members tell you how wonderful it is, because their comments are on the link that's in the bootcamp. And if you'd like to give any feedback about what you've learned today, please do so in the group. If you've got any questions about today, please type those in the group and tag me, Alex William Smith, and I promise that tomorrow I will either type a reply to you, or if I don't, I will have made a note of that question to answer it live on camera during the training. And then at the end of tomorrow's, you can do the same, and I'll answer those on Saturday. At the end of Saturday, you can do the same, and I'll do it on Sunday. And then at the end of Sunday, you can do the same, and I'll probably do a Facebook Live in the group on the Monday to answer the final questions, okay? I think that's fair. That way we get maximum time of actual training during these days. So if you could also leave feedback, what you think of day 1. I will ask at the end of the course for feedback in there, but it'd be nice to see your feedback because of this weird way this training structure is. If you could do that in the group, because I'm more likely to see it rather than on Zoom. So before I leave you for today, just so you know that I'm not completely all about the money. I'm not completely focused on material things. I do actually, I don't make a big thing about it, but I do a lot. You know, I'm not always swearing unnecessarily. I just want you to see another side, so, you know, I'm not always bragging. And I'm not sharing this to brag about all the wonderful work I do for charity. But this one touched my heart, especially because, you know, during this COVID coronavirus crisis, this is May 2020 when this has happened. And I've still been doing some stuff for charity, but I've been doing it online. That's more on the magic side. I've been doing that, bits of entertainment, you know, for old folks' homes and stuff, and donating the odd bit of money. And, well, I got this letter off Edna Johnson from an old folks' home nearby. It arrived this week, and I'll just read it you. I want you to see the other side of me, as it were. says, Dear Dr. Royle, because obviously she don't know I'm called Alex, saw all the websites saying Jonathan Royle. Dear Dr. Royle, God bless you for the beautiful digital radio which you donated and which I won at the recent Senior Citizens Luncheon. I'm 94 years old and live at the local home for the aged. My family has long since passed away and I rarely have visitors. As a result, I have very limited contact with the outside world, even less during this crisis. This makes the gift you donated especially welcome. It's bringing a tear to my eye nearly. My roommate, Maggie Cook, has had her own radio for as long as I've known her. She listens to it all the time, though usually with an earplug or with the volume so low I can't hear it on my side of the room. For some reason she's never wanted to share it. Last Sunday morning, while listening to her morning gospel programmes, she accidentally knocked her radio off its shelf. It smashed into many pieces and caused her to cry. It was so very sad. Fortunately, I had my new radio. Knowing this, Maggie asked if she could listen to mine. I told her to fuck off. God bless you, sincerely, Edna Johnson. So with that thought in mind, thank you for your kind attention. Please leave feedback on today's session in the Stay at Home and Hypnotize group. What did you expect? And trust me, it gets a whole bunch worse tomorrow in terms of language and metaphor, but it gets a whole bunch better as well, because this is stuff that genuinely does work. It's been what I've taught television life coaches, famous name television hypnotists around the world that consult with me. I'm not allowed to say the names on camera, but if you go and look at the bootcamp details in the Stay at Home and Hypnotize group, click on the link there, you'll find testimonials from television hypnotists, life coaches and other famous names around the world who I've either taught, advised, mentored or still coach. And trust me, they pay me thousands, have done over the years. You're getting the truth, the essence of it all over the next 4 days for less than you spend for a night out on beer. So, hope you've enjoyed it. If not much I can do about it really. Hopefully you'll enjoy tomorrow instead. Wherever you are in the world, thank you for staying up or for getting up so early as the case may be. Download that stuff before tomorrow. I'm Jonathan Royle. You're you. Good night from me here in England. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. I'll be in the group briefly in about half an hour downstairs when I've stuck my pyjamas on and gone for a drink. So if you want to start leaving feedback, I will have a look at it and feel hopefully loved, wanted, needed, appreciated, cared for, cherished and valued and all that kind of thing. Bye for now. I'm not sure why the stage keeps moving forward like that. Me just stood on it makes the stage move forward. It's weird. I wonder if it's because it's on the carpet tile. Probably is, but there's nothing I can do about that. So we can stop recording.